Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the importance of art and sort of having these concrete sort of images of an ideal that lead you to sort of pursue this ideal more fully or to better understand what this ideal sort of is. So romantic art is basically art that portrays things in terms of ideals and portrays characters in terms of like the full consequences of a fully integrated sort of idea philosophy or an idea system. So it shows how ideas will guide you as a character, and they make somewhat unrealistic characters, but they make them very like consistent, sort of just to show how a philosophy will how the consequences of a philosophy in a person's life if they accept that philosophy. So that's basically what romantic art does. But it also, but in general, what it does is portray ideals rather than like people as they actually are, which is what naturalism does. I'm a lot more of a fan of romanticism because as human beings, that's one thing that art does for us. It gives us these sort of ideals it gives us a concrete version of an ideal that we can pursue. It creates this sort of very clear image in our mind of what an ideal is, and that essentially motivates us to pursue that ideal more and more, and to have a better understanding of what that ideal is. This is something that makes Christianity so popular because in the Bible it creates this Jesus figure, this sort of ideal man sort of figure. And people who follow Christianity have him as this concrete image of what the ideal man is, what they should pursue. So, and then it leads to this phrase of like, what would Jesus do when they're making tough decisions? And having that concrete image in their mind helps guide their action in a sense, and guide them towards this sort of ideal. Now, I'm not a fan of Christianity. I think Jesus is a very bad ideal to have. But from an objectivist perspective, this is one reason why reading Ayn Rand's fiction is so important, because you get characters like Roark and Galt, and these people become sort of images of what the ideal man is in your mind. And that's one purpose that Rand had when it came to writing art, to portray this ideal man in art. And this is something that, if you read the books, you get an understanding of who that character is, and you can place that person as this ideal to sort of strive towards, to try to achieve throughout your life. So in a similar sense to like, oh, what would Jesus do? You can ask, what would Roark do, or what would Galt do, or what would Dagny do, or any of these ideal sort of characters. And that essentially helps you guide your life. Because if you want to live an individualistic life based on reason, where you are very introspective and constantly correcting yourself and correcting your emotions and constantly bettering yourself and trying to live the happiest life possible in your best interests, those are very, very good concrete images that you can look at and sort of strive towards. So that's absolutely key, and it's very, very important to have images like that you can aspire towards, because as human beings, the only things that we know are things that we can like look at in reality and see. That is basically the base of our knowledge, and like you build percepts from there, and yes, things like that. So having these sort of concrete images, it gives you this sort of ideal to pursue. It gives you some concrete image that you can actually look at as what is this ideal that I want. It gives you something in reality to pursue, and it makes these sort of things a lot more clear than an idea that you build from concepts or build from percepts. So some concept that you build from percepts and some really high, some really, really high sort of highly abstracted idea that comes from some very highly abstracted concept that comes from your percepts. It's very high level concepts. actually what art does is it takes these high level concepts and ascribes a sort of concrete to them, that you can easily think about. So yeah, that's one thing that I think art is very important for, is creating these images for very, very high level abstract concepts. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.